What's up, people? We are live with the MMA Mainstream Podcast. I almost said broadcast. It is a broadcast, but we're doing a podcast, so it is what it is, folks. I'm James with his co-host Kaelyn. Kaelyn, it's almost Christmas time.
True.
UFC has been having some pretty interesting fights as of late. This fight, we have a fight night this weekend that I think is going to be interesting. We had the fights last weekend that I did not catch, but heard all about, and the ripple effects from it have been crazy. Yeah. Did you happen to catch the fights last weekend?
I did. I streamed it.
You streamed it? Ooh, fancy. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it.
Illegally.
I didn't hear nothing. I don't know nothing. So we did our fight picks. Are you ready for this? Crazy.
Yeah, what?
You didn't get any right. And I got 2 right.
Oh my God, we're both losers.
Yeah, but you know what?
Yeah,
I won this one, so I'm But
not
yet
all the losers
my picks
here. You win.
My picks were like random, and it worked. And I'm like, really? It worked? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. We had Sean O'Malley versus Rulian Pavia.
Yeah, I regretted this pick too. Right when I watched it, I'm like,
And O'Malley. Tell us a little more. Did he just go in there and lay hands? Like, from the looks of it, he did.
I'm trying to remember exactly what happened.
I heard he caught him late in the round.
Yeah.
And I seen by the time, yeah.
I'm trying to remember this fight. Oh, that sucks when you stream it. You can't rewatch it. Yeah, no, his striking was really good. I thought Paiva was going to do a lot more. Right. Yeah. Obviously round 1 finish. So, man, I don't know. Sean O'Malley has really great striking, and he just displayed that. So I think now, because I really thought Paiva was going to give him more of a challenge, but since it didn't, I think Sean O'Malley deserves. I think Dana White even said they need to pay him more now.
Yeah, I don't want to say it was the last fight on his contract, but it may have been. And so
I don't remember. I heard something about that.
He could be getting paid substantially more.
Well, Dana White said that they need to, so I think that's kind of set in stone.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, but also he's going to have tougher opponents too, and I think he deserves it.
With Paiva, he beat a top 15 opponent, so he should be moving up.
Well, that's good, because now he can have whoever, is appropriate in those rankings for him, which would be good. Yeah, no, he definitely showed up to fight. He did really good. His striking is real good. He has a long range, and he knows how to use it. So, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I've always kind of liked him, but I wasn't sure. I didn't pick him for this one because of his, not the past fight, but the fight before that. I think it was real sketchy. I don't know. He had some foot issue, but then he handled it weird too. So I was like, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, good fight for him.
Yep. So I picked O'Malley. I got the win on that. And then the one, this surprised me. Because I thought Garbrandt would have got the win, but Kai Kara France got
I didn't know enough I didn't know enough about France because I don't remember any of his last fights. I knew he was good. And they thought it would be a really good match for Cody. Maybe too good. But also Cody didn't look good at that weight either. He looked not healthy, obviously, but I do think his chin is gone, based off seeing him get hit so many times. Yeah, but Kai Kara France is really good though too, so I'm not totally surprised. I wanted Garbrandt to win though, but I don't know
because you picked him.
About him anymore. I feel it's like he had trouble at 135, went down to 125, and then this is the fight that happened right when he went down a weight class. So it's like, what do you do now? Do you continue to drop weight to make 125? But also, I don't even know if he should fight anymore. His chin is gone.
You think he's that far that he shouldn't be fighting?
I think he needs to think about it, because switching weights, obviously, that's supposed to be something like a new life. It's supposed
something
to be
to help him out.
Not a fresh start, but you get another start. You get new opponents. You get a new division. So I don't he can't get hit anymore. he cannot take any more punches to the chin like that because he goes down. He can't handle, and I know that probably dropping weight had something to do with it, but also wasn't doing that great at 135 either for a while. So I don't know what's next for him.
That's a good question. Who knows what's going to happen? He
High
hasn't been
Prince is
performing
really
too
good
well.
though. He's real tough too.
So we shall see what happens. The UFC, I don't believe, has made any cuts yet. If he'll be cut, if they'll rearrange something or
I don't
figure it
think
out.
he'll be cut, but I don't know what's going to happen.
You never know. You know, so many
He could,
fighter
but-
has so many losses. See ya. That's it. That's a wrap. But
He was such a high-profile fighter, though, for a while. You know, I don't know.
Came in and made a big splash, and then unfortunately has seemed to fizzle out right now, unless he could turn it around. But we have yet to see that.
Yeah.
And then we had Jeff Neal versus Ponzibibio. And Jeff Neal got the win. He got the split decision.
Yeah, I don't remember too much of this fight. Probably because it was a decision, but yeah, that's all I can say. I don't really know too much.
Yeah, there are certain fights that go to decision. You're like, man, that was such a war. That was such a great fight. Then you have fights that go to decision, and you're like, oh, that's right. They fought.
Yeah, Jeff Neal's good though. He's really tough. Yeah, he was a better fighter for sure, but nothing memorable about this fight for me. So I don't really have any highlights or anything to talk about. I could be totally wrong, and that there is. I just don't remember them. I'm sorry.
Neither of us picked him, so it is what it is. Now, this shocked the hell out of me, and I'm pretty sure the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Amanda Nunes lost to Juliana Pena. Man.
Yeah. You know, sometimes you have a champ that's a champ for a long time, and all of a sudden they're not anymore.
And it happens. Yeah. It goes down like that.
Yeah.
Dana White had made the comment after this fight, since Pena is now the champ. But if Nunes would have retained that, Amanda Nunes versus Kayla Harrison, who's still a free agent to our knowledge, would have been a massive fight for the UFC. That would have been a huge deal for them.
She was there,
and
that shows definite interest, you know.
Yeah, and with Pena, you know, playing the party pooper, unfortunately, like that fight is not going to be the biggest fight because Nunes is not at the status that she is.
Yeah, so in the beginning of the fight, I mean, so Nunes didn't look like herself for sure. She wasn't as aggressive. She was doing all right, and she did tag Pena a few times. I'm like, okay, this fight's crazy, you know. But Pena kind of weathered it, and you know, landed some on Nunes. I don't think Nunes handled those punches very well, and I don't know. It's just I haven't really seen Nunes get hit all that much lately in her past fights because she's been so dominant. So watching that, I was like, oh man, I don't know, because you don't know what's going to happen when they get hit. If you have a champ for that long, that doesn't really, not used to getting hit like that all the time. I don't know if this was a one-time thing where she wasn't feeling well, but I did notice her hands were down too after that first one that landed. Like she wasn't.
Do you think that with everything that's gone on with her, that she had slowed down and maybe didn't train as hard?
I think she may have trained the same, which may have been a problem because I think you should always be doing more. And I know being a champ is hard when you've already defended your belt so many times that you don't think the competition's there. I thought she was going to murder Juliana Pena, just like everybody else did.
I think a lot of people felt that way.
So, and I think that Nunes felt that way too. I don't know if she got a little too confident, but I don't think she did anything new in training to make sure that she got the win. And also, who knows what happens the day of. I know fighters don't feel well sometimes, and like it just happens. It's life, you know.
Very true.
But she didn't handle getting hit very well. And then after she got hit, she looked very tired, where she didn't even keep her hands up. And Pena was just so much in her face that she never either got the opportunity to keep her hands up, or maybe she was stunned and didn't really know what to do that fast of a reaction, you know? I still not sold on Juliana Pena. Like, I want to see this rematch because I think Nunes will definitely definitely train harder, being that it is a rematch to get her belt back. Unless she's done, unless she, doesn't want to fight anymore. I know that's a little dramatic, but
I do think you're
maybe
right. I would like to see a rematch as well, or even
she wants
Pena
it. She
take on
said,
somebody else. I want to see how she
yeah,
does
I want to see Pena take
against
on
different
somebody else
adversity.
because, you caught Nunes on a bad day, maybe. But what about like, the rest of the division? I don't know, because I wasn't sold on her to begin with. She might be a new person, a new fighter. If she keeps up with this, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know when she's going to come back. That's the shitty thing is like, it's probably going to be a while before either of them come back. Hopefully it's a rematch. But I don't know. I think it was crazy to watch Amanda Nunes lose her belt, but she was also a little too okay with losing the belt too. I'm like, yeah, she's not even upset. She's like, what happens or whatever.
All
She's like,
right. See ya. I
it
gotta go
wasn't
deal
my
with my
best
kid
day.
now.
It's like, it wasn't like, yeah, probably not your best day, but if you're a fighter, you got to make it your best day. You got to at least
True.
try. Also, I just don't know if that's because she got hit so hard. You never know because you're out of it. You get hit. You don't know you don't know what you're, sometimes you don't even have control of your body right after you get hit like that too.
Yep.
Pena she's a different kind of fighter. She does have she has heavy hands, but her, like, it's not like a perfect clean strike. She's kind of just in your face and makes
Like
it
a brawler.
but like a more skilled brawler. Yeah. She's like in your face. She does land and it's just she doesn't look good doing it is what I'm trying to say. I feel like I don't know, she didn't have like a perfect form of striking even though she was landing, so that counts, but like Nunes, when she throws a good punch and it's clean and it's straight and it's, has really good form. Pena's a little maybe unorthodox and tough, so she can take whatever is in front of her and give something back. And this time she got it. So I'm not sold yet. We'll see what happens next, and then maybe after that, because it'll probably be a rematch. And then after that, I want to see her take on somebody else, or take on somebody else and rematch it later. I don't know.
I completely agree with that. I feel like Pena won, good for her, but I feel like she's still untested because she did get this win, and it wasn't what we expected out of Amanda. So we want to see more. And that's when we can really gauge her. I mean, she does have the fight record that she does, but we can get a better gauge of Pena once she's defended her title, once we've seen her more as champ, and hopefully she's not fly by night, but we'll see. Joe Rogan also had a comment about Amanda Nunes' performance, saying that it's inexcusable to be that tired in the second round.
Well, yeah, for sure, obviously, but it's like, she said she wasn't all there. She kind of checked out, I guess was her words. I don't remember what exactly she said, but it was something along those lines where it's like, you can't check out when you have the belt because people are trying to grab it, you have to be
but
ready.
He does give credit where it's due, though, and says that Pena is the one that got her to quit. So
I guess that day, yeah. We'll see.
And it worked because that's why she's the champ.
Yeah.
Now, talking about it earlier, Kayla Harrison had some words for the champ, for the new champ. Basically, it's watch what you say.
Well, you should say what Juliana Pena said about her first.
Let's find out what she said.
Well, she basically said that, like in a nutshell, that did she say Pena, or was it about Nunes? Pena.
Oh, here we go. I think she's the lesser
really
of the training partners for her and Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I just took out Amanda. I don't know what kind of position that would put her in, but she's been fighting the B leagues. I've been fighting in the UFC. I've been fighting at the top of the division. I'm fighting in the biggest league of this sport. So I'm not paying much attention to what she's doing down there.
I think she's really paying attention to what she's doing because
because from us talking about it and just the way it's going, Kayla Harrison's probably going to sign with the UFC, and she is probably going to be the next big thing. That's who.
Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like that's who they're going to invest in.
I thought maybe it was dependent on Nunes winning.
Well, it was. That would have been the biggest fight because the credentials that Harrison has, that sets her apart already. Yet Pena, it's, like we were talking about, Pena's still up in the air with, at least with us, because she's untested, really.
Also, Dana White said that if Nunes won, they were going to square off her and Kaelyn.
That's true.
So
that's true.
That decision was made already, and she didn't square off with anyone. Like, maybe she could have squared off with Pena, but she didn't, because I don't think anyone wants to watch that. And I don't think Kaelyn wants to sign UFC for that fight either.
Well, yeah, of course, Harrison wants to make the most money and wants the biggest fights possible. And just right now, until Pena hits a certain stride, we're not going to see that.
Right. Also, this is the 135 division. This isn't the 145. This is bantamweight. So does Kayla Harrison even go down to bantamweight? Because
I think she could, but she might be super dehydrated and sucked in.
I don't know if she can make 135.
Like a skeleton.
But the only way she could come in at 145 is to fight Nunes. Nunes still has the belt at 145, though. She only lost her 135 belt. She still has a 145 belt.
Yes, that's true.
Technically, I mean, you don't want to square off with someone that just got knocked out or lost, so that didn't happen. But she could still come back and fight at 145 against Nunes, who has the belt there. So Nunes has the options. She doesn't have to come back and rematch Juliana Pena for the 135 belt. She can still defend the 145.
But I feel like it does diminish her reputation with having this ultra fight with Harrison because she did lose to Pena.
Yeah, so I don't know what UFC is going to do with that. Also, I don't know when Juliana Pena wants to come back. She may have said, but I didn't listen.
Yeah, it's because it's all right. Nobody really cares what Pena has to say. It is what it is.
Not right now. It doesn't seem like it.
No, they're like she's a champ. Good for her, but we don't care.
Like everyone's confused.
Right? Who? She did what?
But also, she's not active. Maybe she's trying to be.
I think she is now as champ. She's because it even seems like we're hearing about her more because her smack talk game is going up.
Because she came back. She wanted to be active. She wanted that title shot, so she got it. I just wonder what's going to happen after. So we'll see. Same. But I don't know. Nunes still has a belt though, so
that's true. That she does, and we'll see what happens with that. Moving on to the main event from this past week, Charles Oliveira defended his belt against Dustin Poirier, and Oliveira got the submission win in the third round at 1 minute 2 seconds. We both took Poirier. Poirier lost. My buddy sent me a text because I was not able to watch the fights. He sent me a text and he said, Oliveira won. I said, how did he win? He said he rode him like a backpack. And I'm like, oh, okay. He got the sub.
Yeah. Yeah. I was surprised. I really didn't know about this one. I picked Dustin because I felt like maybe he was going to get it.
It felt like it was his time.
Because it has been, but I realized it's been his time for a while already, even though he hasn't had the actual champion belt. He's been in some wars, like crazy wars, and he's done really, really well. It's like, you can't always have a war and win like that every single time, like a Max Holloway. You know what I mean?
True.
So, and Oliveira, it's his time for sure. I know that. So, I kind of felt bad for Dustin, man. He's been fighting for this belt for so long. Oh my God, he's just been trying to get this belt. He's had some of the biggest fights, some of the greatest wins, no belt. I mean, you could argue the interim belt, but I hate those.
As do I. I'm not a fan of the interim titles.
Yeah.
I don't get the big deal why Dana White was assigned one for the heavyweight division when Ngannou had just won.
Yeah,
that's going to be coming up pretty quick too. Is the unification fight for that? And that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, whatever.
Right? It's not really unification. It just technically is because we have the interim and we have the actual champ bringing the belts together. And then we're going to talk about Ngannou and some of his comments a little bit later on. But Poirier, I still will root for him. I hope he doesn't end his career with this. I would love to see him as champion. There are some fighters that I think are right there, and if they just get that extra inch, they could get it. And I've seen a lot of fighters that have been there and were not able to get it, and that sucks. And I hope he's one of them that finally reaches the pinnacle of the sport and becomes a champ.
Yeah, he's already a champ, though. I mean, everyone knows
in our hearts.
Yeah, but I don't know. He's not. I mean, he's still, well, number one technically, I guess. I don't know what happens to that, but Oliveira's good though. He's really good. He deserves that belt too. So
yeah, not to take away anything from Oliveira, but I mean, Poirier, I feel like has been in more.
He's been around forever, and so is Oliveira.
Exactly it.
Both these guys have been around for so long.
Yeah, that's true. So those were our picks. We didn't do fare too well in the top 3 fights, but in the bottom 2, I did A-okay. So we'll go ahead and move on to this weekend's fight night with the main event of Derek Lewis versus Chris Daukaus. But we're going to start at the bottom of the main card where we have Cub Swanson versus Darren Elkins. Cub Swanson 27-12 versus Elkins, who's 27-9.
Pretty similar there.
Very similar. Swanson's coming off of a loss. Elkins is coming off of a win. For Elkins, for those that know him, they know him. But for those that don't know him, this could help his career by getting a win over Cub Swanson, who is more, I feel like, more of a household name in certain MMA circles.
Yeah, was. For a while.
Yeah, it was, but still, I mean, a win over somebody who's well known is still a win over somebody who's well known.
Yeah, I feel like that's who he is now. I feel like that's who Cub Swanson is now. It's like you get given to those fighters who only thing they achieve is having him on his resume, you know?
Almost as a gatekeeper.
Sorta, almost not, but yeah.
All right. Kaelyn, who do you pick to win this fight?
I'm at Darren Elkins. He's pretty tough and he's been doing pretty well. So that picture's funny of him. Like his eyes
I feel like not to sound mean, but I feel like in that pick he's like, "Durr."
Yeah, that's what I meant.
You know what? I'll take Elkins as well. Cub Swanson.
I just don't have confidence in Cub Swanson anymore.
Same. That's exactly it. Is Cub Swanson's let me down too many times.
Exactly. He's getting older too, I think. I don't know how old he is.
That's it. And then now we have Mateus Gamrot. I
forgot how you say it, but it's Gamrot.
Gamrot.
Yeah.
Versus Diego Ferreira.
Yeah.
17-4 for Ferreira, and Gamrot is 19-1 and 1 no contest. Ferreira's coming off of a loss. Gamrot with the win. Damn, that's an interesting fight right there.
I don't know too much about Gamrot. I probably should, but I don't.
Apparently, he only has 1 loss, so he does pretty well.
Yeah,
I'm going to go Gamrot purely based on records.
You're probably right. I'm going to do the other one, though. I'm going to go with Diego.
You got it.
Yeah. We'll see what happens to that.
That will definitely be an interesting fight, because that's also the lower fights have been when we've made split picks. That's also been a deciding factor on who wins in the pick war.
Yeah.
So we shall see. Moving up the card, we have Rafael Sunsao versus Ricky Simon. Beautiful mullet, by the way.
Yeah, that thing's flowing.
27-8 for a Sunsao and 18-3. Sunsao's coming off of a loss and Simon's coming off of a win. Sunsao's been around. He's ranked number 12, but he's been in the game for a long time.
You remember Cody Garbrandt knocking him out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm going to pick a Sunsao.
I'm going to do the same. Just based off of the record and the experience. And then we have Angela Hill versus Amanda Lemos.
I always love when Angela Hill fights. Oh, she's one of my favorites. She's so good.
13-10 versus 10-1-1.
That's funny.
Woo!
Yeah, but man, that record on Angela Hill, that doesn't really do her any justice. She's good. And I always go for her. I'm gonna pick her for sure.
I'm gonna pick her. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna pick Lemos. Just because 13-10, like, you're certain fighters that have that type of record. Let's be real, we're not really picking them for a win for anything.
Yeah, but it's Angela Hill. You know she's good, though. That's the thing. That's weird. Her record is like that. It's just she's so good, though. She's been fighting top opponents the entire time.
For a long time.
And I don't remember
Especially
her
because she's got
finished.
twice the fights that Lemos does.
I don't remember seeing her ever get finished. So that's another thing. And she could have, and I just don't remember. But it's definitely not often if she has. She's a good kickboxer. Very, very, very good at Muay Thai.
All right, let's go ahead and keep this card. Now I feel like since we're getting closer to the main event, we're getting into more interesting fights. Like we have Stephen Thompson versus Belle Mohammed.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious to see this fight. I think Mohammed will use his wrestling against Thompson. Hopefully Thompson can get off his striking and maybe knock out Mohammed, but you never
I don't know. Thompson lately
hasn't been looking the same, right?
I just don't care about him, and
really.
Yeah, he's good. His style doesn't intrigue me very much. He likes his karate stance.
That he does.
And man, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's his attitude where I feel like he's just okay with everything when he should be trying to get the finish.
Harder.
Maybe, I mean, I can't say he's not trying hard. He's doing his thing,
but he seems so lackluster about it, so not enthusiastic about it. I could see.
Yeah, about
I can see where you
finish.
get that.
Like he just.
Yeah.
He wants to pick his strikes, but it's like, I think you got to do more than that. I think you got to overwhelm your opponent and then pick your strikes. He's just picking his strikes where he will try to make the most distance the entire time, where I think maybe you need to close in on it more, because I think you could really get in a few more shots than by just trying to do single strikes. It's just, and he's really flashy because he's real good at that. He has very good balance and everything like that to pull that kind of stuff off, but the range sometimes off on those, so it's not really good to do that all the time.
We have 16-5-1 versus 19-3-1 no contest. Thompson's coming off of a loss. Mohammed's coming off of a win. Number 5 versus number 10.
Yeah. Well, who do you got for this one?
I was going to take Mohammed. I think he's going to be able to neutralize a lot of what Thompson has to offer. But if Thompson comes out with a flash, like a beautiful knockout, hey, props to him. But I'm going to pick Mohammed to basically just take him down.
I'll pick Thompson. I'm not real sure. This is a weird matchup, I think, for me. Like, these styles are a weird matchup.
This fight's either going to be really entertaining
or boring.
Or super boring.
Yeah, I've been bored with Stephen Thompson lately, I guess. I don't know. He's cool. I just don't get excited when he's on a fight card. I don't know. I hope he pulls out something great, though.
I hope so, too. That'd be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
But we shall see this weekend at UFC Fight Night. Now on to the main event. We have Derek Lewis, who has the best Instagram page ever. He's okay. Versus Chris Dawkins, number 3 against number 7. 25-8-1 no contest versus 12-3. Lewis coming off of a loss. Dawkins coming off of a win. Man, these fighters will bang. If this fight goes to a decision, I will be shocked.
Yeah, I pick Lewis.
You pick Lewis?
I know Dawkins is crazy too, but I think Lewis has it.
This is where
it depends what Lewis wants that day, because I feel like he can turn it on, and he has been lately with all of his fights where he's more agile, he's quicker. He's more flexible. He gets those high kicks in sometimes where it's surprising, you know. I don't know. I mean, if Dawkins wins, heavyweights are such a toss up, though, you know.
Yeah.
So
And Dawkins is making his way up, the card. And he's ranked number 7, but Derek Lewis, what Derek Lewis are we going to get?
Yeah, I hope it's new. I hope it's like how he has been the last few of his fights, where it gets better and better. Pulls off some new, better stuff, flying knees. You know, it's crazy. This guy can actually can do that. So I like to see that, and he's been doing that more. And I think he was injured for a while, like his back or something, so he wasn't really doing much in his fights, unfortunately. But now it's like every fight that I see Lewis do, unless it's getting finished, he's more agile, he's more flexible, he's quicker. So
I'm picking Dawkins, but if Derek Lewis wins, I won't be mad. In fact, I'll be happy about it.
Yeah, this should be good.
So, those are our fight picks for this coming weekend and the UFC Fight Night, which let's see if they even have a time for that. If it's some crazy time,
or maybe it's probably normal. Early, isn't it?
This one, says 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So this sounds like a normal event. Yeah.
A little bit earlier, right. Actually. It's normally 5, but maybe it's a little bit earlier. Which means prelims are probably at like 2 or 2:30.
True. Very true. Let's see if they give us a time for that. It says 1 o'clock. So yeah, they start pretty early. Raquel Pennington's going to be versus Macy.
Oh, that would be a good fight.
Chiasson,
yeah. Who else is on there? We can look over real quick.
Dontel Mays and a bunch of other fighters, and I'm like, I've heard the name.
Justin Toffus. So I didn't watch the weigh-ins or anything. I heard he missed weight for heavyweight though.
Damn, to miss a weight like that for heavyweight.
That's why it was so crazy. I should have read more about it. I kind of skimmed over it.
I just have to say that Victor Henry's hair is very beautiful. I feel like he uses like some Vidal Sassoon, maybe some Paul Mitchell.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. You never know.
I don't even use those.
This is the undercard, the prelims. And now it's this weekend, UFC Fight Night. So we talked about Kevin Lee last week, or 2 weeks ago, how he got let go. We thought Bellator would pick him up. Bellator wasn't interested, apparently. So he signed with Eagle FC in a multi-fight deal. We talked about Eagle FC last week because they are picking up fighters left and right. They're a promotion from overseas in Russia, and they are finally making their way stateside. Cody Gibson will be competing for them, who's one of my favorites that I've talked about him numerous times. They've been picking up fighters left and right, and Kevin Lee is now the most recent signee.
That's cool. This Eagle FC is getting interesting as far as the fight, because now they have a lot of UFC fighters that, are there now. So I think that's cool. I think that this has some kind of momentum behind it. I don't know how long this organization's been going on. Do you? Like, what number are they on as far as their fights?
44.
It's been around for a while, I guess.
Yeah, and they plan on holding as many as 10 events in the U.S. in 2022.
That's a lot. Oh my gosh. I would like to go see one of these. That sounds really interesting.
Also, another story we were going to mention, they picked up ex-UFC champ Renan Barão. Awesome. And Rashad Evans is coming out of retirement to compete here. So that's like this next card's going to be very interesting. I'm very curious about it. I'm more interested in this fight than in anything that Triller has done.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
So we shall definitely see what happens with that.
Speaking of the Eagle, though, what's his name is training with him now. We're trying to. You were saying earlier.
Oh, Jake Paul. One of the Logan Paul, Jake Paul says that Khabib will train him for his MMA debut. Even though Jake Paul is supposed to be fighting Tyron Woodley this weekend. So this dude, who knows what he's going to do? Like,
I don't know.
I hope Woodley finally goes in there and does what he needs to do.
Well, here's his chance. I don't know if that's gonna happen though.
We shall see.
I don't know. I'm kind of tired of these circus fights. We'll see. Wasn't the worst fight though, I have to admit, between them two, the first one.
True.
So we'll see.
But that's exactly it. It is what it is. So let's go back to more pressing news with the UFC. Francis Ngannou made a comment as it pertained to Jon Jones. And that was, he says a lot of things. Because Jon Jones does run his mouth a lot, has talked about going to heavyweight, but yet Jon Jones hasn't competed in quite some time and has had problems with the law, which is another thing. Jon Jones's domestic violence charge has been dropped in Las Vegas.
Interesting.
Along with the court condition, stay out of trouble.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, we'll see how that works. But anyways, Francis Ngannou is pretty much just disregarding Jon Jones because Jon Jones just likes to do a lot of this and not really fight. So, yeah, I could see why he'd be like, listen, I got bigger fish to fry. I'm actually competing.
Well, right. I'm like, you got to pay attention to who's in your division,
who's in front of you.
Active. Yeah.
That's it. So props to Ngannou for just being like, listen, this guy can do what he wants to do. I'm the champ. I'm doing what I need to do.
Yeah.
Because all it is just talk and there's no action behind it. So I completely understand that. And Jones has to figure out his whole camp situation. He says he's training with the same dudes, even though he was let go from his main camp because he can't stay out of trouble.
I don't blame him. Yeah.
No.
What's the point of wasting your time with a fighter that's just going to go get in trouble outside of the gym?
Go do something else and go do something stupid.
And yeah, so I get
That's
it. I think they've held on to him longer than enough time, you know.
Very true. And then in other news, Laura Sanko, a former MMA fighter who's transitioned to a backstage reporter, is hoping to do commentary for the UFC. And we talked about this a little bit before the show, and you thought she would be a great addition.
She already is
to doing all that.
She's been there. She's already been, maybe not exactly at the table.
I think she wants to do main card fight night. She wants to go to take that next step for commentary.
She wants to sit next to Joe Rogan.
Yeah, or be Joe Rogan because, hey,
yeah,
Joe makes a lot of money with Spotify now.
Yeah, well, Joe Rogan loves UFC. I don't think he's going anywhere. But
if they'll keep him, you never know.
Why would they
never know? Look at Mike Goldberg. Goldberg they had for a long time, and then
Goldberg is not Rogan, and Rogan and Dana White are very good friends.
True. And
Rogan called fights for free for a long time. He called fights for free
because he had that Fear Factor money.
But it was his hobby. Like he still does it when he can, so I don't expect him to go anywhere.
I don't think so. I think a lot of people like Joe Rogan, and he should stay around. But I'm referring to the other people. But you also never know. Joe could be like, I'm enjoying this, but I'm getting really tired of some of this. I'd rather do this, that, the other than do.
Well, he only does,
but we'll see.
He only does pay-per-views, and then only if they're in the U.S. though. Also, so that opens up a position for someone like him to go overseas, Fight Island, fight nights.
That's very true.
She's very, very good at what she does. She already knows everything.
Quite a bit.
Think she has her own research that she goes off of. She's not just reading a script, she knows she knows what she's talking about. She's competed also, which is really great.
Yeah.
But
I think she would be great, especially to get it's a different dynamic because you don't see very many female commentators, and especially someone who has they are around, just not in combat sports. So I think it'll be great to see a female fighter come in and do this, and who has the experience of competing in combat sports, especially in MMA. So I think it'll be phenomenal. I look forward to it.
1 sec. I gotta plug in my computer before it dies.
That would certainly help.
Yeah. It goes from like 20% to 0. So.
And I wish we had a sponsorship, because then I could fill that sponsorship right now by talking about them.
No worries.
Especially
All
right
good.
before the holidays. All right.
Exactly.
Well, you're all good. That was quick. I'm glad that didn't take long. And so one of the other things we want to talk about with UFC news is Thug Rose is urging the UFC to book Carla Esparza for their title match.
She's like, let me get this girl out of the way.
let me handle this business. And I believe it was Carla Esparza had beat her before.
Yeah, like how long ago?
A while ago.
It was after the Ultimate Fighter, I think.
Yeah.
And
so I think to run that back, I think Thug Rose just wants that win.
Well, she knows she already has that win. She just needs to actually do it just to clean up the record there, because if she lost to someone, now is definitely time to take care of that, because she definitely will.
Very true. And
Carla Esparza, God, man, after seeing her get murdered by Joanna when Carla had the belt when she just got into UFC, and Rose beat Joanna eventually. It's like, I don't see how. I don't see any other.
A really twisted circle.
Yeah, but I feel like the fight with Rose and her back then doesn't count for anything now. Carla Esparza got better for sure. Don't think she's gonna win though. That's for sure. I don't know if she would beat Rose. Rose, I think that'd be beat,
I just hope they make the fight.
Strong Lily twice, dude. Twice.
Still.
And Joanna twice.
But we shall see. We shall see what happens as it pertains to that and what goes on. There were fights last weekend that I had attended. I was helping with production. It was MMA Fight Pass presenting cage fighting, and they had boxing. The cage fights were really good. The jiu-jitsu was really good. It was nuts. I don't recall his name, but a young jiu-jitsu young grappler got his arm broken. He was put in a lock and didn't submit, and pop, there went his arm. That was nuts. Oh yeah. And it was just crazy because you don't see that often. And it happened. And it was like, oh. But no, of course it happens, but
it's gross.
I feel like in an exhibition it doesn't get that far. It was some really talented grapplers out there, so it was really well done. The boxing was interesting. There was boxing earlier on the card, and it was great because they had kids boxing.
I love that.
Kids boxing was awesome.
It's fun.
There's no technique. It's going there and punch, 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 punch.
Or it's like the gloves weigh more than the kid.
Exactly.
Kind of that's so
there
cute.
Was I saw it was a young girl versus a young boy. The young boy did great in the first round. The young girl came out like a woman possessed. She was like, "What did you say about my mama?" And she just went to town on him.
So they mix.
It was phenomenal.
They mix genders in competing with kids.
These are kids. Yeah. I
don't know.
They look like they weighed like 30 pounds soaking wet. So
yeah, I get it, but I'm just a little surprised. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. That's fun.
It was exhibition, so I think that's also why it was okay. It's like it doesn't count.
I guess. Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, but the MMA was good. A lot of talented fighters had come through, and I'm looking forward to the next event. I'm waiting for Archie to get back to me on when that's going to be and where. So hopefully we'll find out soon. Definitely a great night of fights. Hopefully for those that are watching or had heard about it, caught the stream. If you want, that stuff is all on our Facebook page or on our YouTube, MMA Fight Pass. You should be able to find it. Just go ahead and search that and check that out. And then finally, this weekend is 559 fights. And I've always said, I've always talked them up because they put on a tremendous fight card for the Central Valley, and they're going to do it again this weekend. So that is definitely something to look forward to. If you want to go check out some live fights this weekend and you're in Central California, 559 Fights over in Visalia. If they still have tickets, I know they were pretty close to being sold out. So if you want to find out more, you can find out their information on social media or contact the Visalia Convention Center. They might be open right now to contact them. And yeah, just a great night of fights this weekend with the UFC Fight Night and 559 Fights. And then we got Christmas coming up. Oh my gosh. So excited for gifts. Yes.
Are you?
I am. Even though I didn't ask for anything, and I'm not giving anybody gifts this year because I purchased a home and mortgages are expensive.
A little bit.
So I'm just excited. I love the season, and I've been watching a lot of Christmas related stuff. I look forward to it.
Yeah. Christmas is the same every year. It's fun. Really good food.
Right. I'm gonna get tore up on something.
Yeah. We have a really big family, so we draw names, so we don't have to buy gifts for everybody.
Do you do a YL event, or do you just do
it's a serious gift? It's just we all make lists. Okay. We pick whoever we draw names on Thanksgiving for Christmas, and we all keep a list at my grandma's. So we just check it out, see who you got. Don't tell anybody who you got, and then pick one of the items on their list, I guess. We try to keep a budget because that's the whole point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. We make some really good food, so that's what I look forward to. And then like a gift.
I'll be participating in a white elephant this weekend, so I'm really looking forward to that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you my process on this. I was like, what do I want? And so I bought that.
Oh, maybe you'll get it.
Well, my plan is I bought it. I don't think anyone's going to grab it. So if it's still available when it's my turn.
And you know which one it is, so you know which one to grab.
I'll be like, oh my gosh, how did they know?
And then someone takes it from you at the end.
I know, I'll be like, really? You need a gift card to Home Depot?
Really?
Yeah.
Everyone needs one of those.
Right?
Yeah. So I already picked mine out for the person I drew the name for. I just have to go pick it up. I ordered it curbside, so I just let them know when I'm on my way. And that's the done.
Pull up, pop the trunk, put it in. Thanks, bro.
Yep.
All right. And then we will probably be doing a podcast next week, folks. A real quick one just to go over our picks and if there's anything else going on. So it might not be the usual 45 minutes to an hour that our podcast usually is, but we do plan on doing one next week. And then we'll be off because the UFC and Bellator won't be having anything until about mid-January. But we will be back after the holidays, after the new year, to keep doing what we do here at the MMA Mainstream Podcast. I keep wanting to say broadcast. Podcast. Yeah, all right. So thanks for joining us today, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good one.